This is Gastic Initials time, and I'm your lovely host, Jiwon Kim. Nice and welcome back. This week's Gastic Initials is a recorded broadcast. Sadly, I cannot communicate with you, but I hope you can have time to learn Korean words and Korean cultures through fun quizzes. I'm gonna introduce today's theme. Look at this background. It is about Korean holiday, Chuseok. Yeah, right. Chuseok is one of the biggest holidays in Korea. To harvest grains and fruits, pray for a rich year, and thanks the ancestors. And in Korea, people visit their hometown and enjoy family time with parents and cousins on Chuseok. Sometimes the elders may give you some pocket money. Sometimes families are gathered together and have a nice conversation. But in many cases, elderly cousins ask you questions such as, are you getting good grades at school? And are you employed? And what do you do for a living? So sometimes it is quite stressful if those questions are not relevant to you. Then with me, Jiwon, let's begin the quiz. Okay guys, quiz number 1. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. This is a common tree you can see in mountains and plains easily that represents Korea. It has a red-brown or dark brown bark and green needle-shaped leaves. We make tea with pine leaves because it helps blood circulation and prevents hypertension and adult disease. The answer uses pine leaves. Okay, I'm gonna give you hint number 2. Hint number 2. 떡. This is a food you make with steamed short grain rice, sticky rice, or other grain by pounding them, right? Or make it with powdered grain by steaming them. Mostly in Korea, we make lots of dogs and share them with people when celebrating something such as holidays or weddings. I'm gonna give you hint number 3. It's the initials. It has 2 letters. 시옷, 피읍. The answer is songpyeon. songpyeon. It is a kind of dog representing Korean holiday, Chuseok. It is a dog made by kneading short grain rice with hot water and separating it into small size. Then add stuffings such as sesame, red bean, and soybean and make shapes into a half moon or shellfish shape and steam on spread pine leaves. In Korea, there is a story saying you can get a cute daughter if you make a nice looking songpyeon. Let's move on to quiz number 2. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. It is an animal characterized by a short tail and long ears. It is described as an animal jumping around with short front legs and long back legs jumping around. This is also a familiar animal in Korea that is the subject in children's song or stories. There is a legend that rabbit lives on the answer. Hint number 2. This is a song hint. 그대여 뜨는 날 그대 날 보러 와요 이 밤이 가기 전에 해 뜨기 전에 서둘러줘요. This is a famous song and the song's name is The Answer. This is the song of Sunmi, who was a member of a girl group Wonder Girls. And she is one of the representative idols that come to mind when someone thinks of beautiful legs, and is a stable mid-low range vocal, which is quite rare for female idols. Okay, hint number 3. 비읍, 리을, 디귿. The answer is, as you guys know, it's 보름달. This is a state of the moon when the moon is opposite the sun to the earth. And we can see the moon in a bright and round shape. We have the custom to watch the 보름달 and forecast the next harvest or make wishes on Chuseok evening. And let's move on to quiz number 3. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. This is a grave or a place licensed by the country for making graves. Some are in a round shape, made with soil, and some are in a flat shape, made with stone. Normally, there is a gravestone to state whose grave it is. I'm gonna give you hint number 2. 벌초. It is to cut the weeds and trees that have grown in the grave. Korean people consider taking care of the ancestors' graves very important. So you can see streets crowded with cars of people who have come to tidy up the graves from a month before the Chuseok. People tied up the graves to do the answer before Chuseok. Okay, I'm gonna give you hint number 3. It has 2 letters. 시옷, 미음. The right answer is songpyeon. It is to visit the ancestors' grave and take care of it. Traditionally, taking care of the grave where the ancestor's body is buried was considered as important as ancestral rites that take care of the ancestor's soul. The songpyeon on Chuseok has the meaning to serve newly harvested crops to the ancestors first. Let's move on to quiz number 4. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. He is 이순신. In Korea, he is considered the representative hero who saved the country and the greatest figure. During the 임진 War, 임진왜란, he gathered women to do the answer to make Japanese think there are many soldiers than the real. There are lots of works about 이순신. There is a movie, 명량, which is about Battle of 명량해전 and saying of 이순신 such as 전하, 신에게는 아직 12척의 배가 남아있사옵니다, like this. And there is a movie, 한산, which is about the Battle of Hansan that occurred after the 임진 War. Okay, I'm gonna give you hint number 2. Hint number 2, 무형문화재. Intangible cultural asset. They are cultural assets with no form such as music, dance, play, and craftsmanship that has historic and artistic values. The answer is registered as an intangible cultural asset. I'm gonna give you hint number 3. 기억, 기억, 시옷, 리을. And the answer is Ganggangsullae, Ganggangsullae. It is a traditional Korean folk game usually played under the full moon on Chuseok. This is a kind of dancing game in which people hold hands and go round and round while singing a song with a chorus singing Ganggangsullae like this. Ganggangsullae. Ganggangsullae is translated as a meaning of strong barbarians are coming across the water. Let's move on to quiz number 5. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. Like a dice, you can decide the number with the answer. It is a dice is a cube-shaped gaming tool that has dots or numbers on each side. And with our answer, you can decide the number with the answer. Hint number 2. Asian zodiac. 12지신. They are guardians of the land, symbolized by 12 animals. According to their zodiac, they are presented as a mouse, cow, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, chicken, dog, and pig. The terms used in the answer include the animals from the Asian zodiac. In Korea, every year has its Asian zodiac, which is symbolized by animals. Okay, let's move on to hint number 3. Hint number 3. 이응, 니은, 이응. The answer is Yunori! And it is a Korean folk game to compete by throwing 4 yuts and moving markers according to its result. Result of the 4 yuts decide how many spaces you can move. And the results are called 도개 걸륜모. And 도 is from a pig. 개 is from a dog. 걸 is from a sheep. Yud is from a cow. Mo is from a horse. Let's move on to quiz number 6. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. This is a frame to weave cloth, such as hemp, cotton, and silk. This is a tool to make cloths in handwork when there was no electricity. In the old days, this played an important role in making the answer. Let's move on to hint number 2. Hint number 2. hanbok. These are indigenous clothes that Korean people wore for a long time. The hanbok people enjoy wearing now was settled after the mid-Joseon period. And basically, men wear pants and 저고리, and woman wears skirt and 저고리. Hint number 3. 치읓, 시옷, 비읍. I'm gonna give you the answer. The answer is 추석 빔. They are clothes newly made or made with new cloth. In the old days, when clothes were precious, children used to get dressed in their 추석 빔 that they have long waited for and bragged about them. Okay, guys, let's move on to quiz number 7. Hint number 1. Look at this picture. This is a fibrous vegetable with a name that means the egg of earth. Sometimes people eat this thinking it's a potato and are surprised by a totally different taste. You can have it as a tea. When you eat this in soup, unlike potatoes, their texture is kind of slippery. Let's move on to hint number 2. 고짓국. 고짓국 is a local food of the 강원도 영동 area made with gourd. This is similar to 소고기 묻국, beef radish soup, and that is made with sliced and shred gourds. In the Yeongdong area, they eat this instead of answer on Chuseok. Okay, I'm gonna give you initials. 티읕, 리을, 기역. Okay, the answer is 토란국. This is a holiday cuisine to add taro into the light soup made with beef and kelp. People started eating this as this is harvested in the autumn. Taro is easy to digest because it has less starch for its size compared to other crops. So people had taros to protect their stomach on Chuseok, which is the holiday people overeat. This is the end of today's quiz. Today we have 7 quizzes about Korean Chuseok. So guess the K initials. See you next Friday at 2 p.m. Bye guys!